Welcome back, everybody. Joining us already in progress, Tony Chohan versus Jonathan Pinegar. Pinegar's pocket is in the lower left corner. This is a race to three. We are at the Derby City Classic. It is the one pocket division, and this is round 11. I am your host, Scott Frost, aka The Freezer, and I appreciate you all joining us. Pinegar on the 10 ball, looking to get to the 4. This is game number 1. This is a race to 3. And this is round 11. Neither player with a loss. Chohan tried to pocket the 10 there and remove the 7. Caught it a bit thin. Pinegar could be off to the races. Real quickly, go over some rules. Each player gets a single pocket. 8 of any balls into that pocket will win them the game. Any foul will cost you a ball, meaning a double hit, a scratch, no rail. That will all cost you a ball. Alternate break is in effect. Make a ball on the break, it's a re-rack. And then if you 3 foul, 3 consecutive fouls, that will be a loss of game. Last but not least, no jump cues allowed. Pinegar gets on the 11. He can go into the 1, but he'd probably rather carry an angle. So somewhere out into the center of the table is ideal. Just like so. Now I'm looking at the stack, trying to figure out if he's got anything that looks real sweet. Maybe the 14-6-2. There's nothing wrong with being on the backside of the stack after this, unless he'd like to come all the way around or back and forth for the 1. Sometimes trying to come all the way around for the 1 ball could cause a miss. Maybe you get more out of it just staying on the backside of the stack and pushing something to your side and keeping your opponent buried. Looks like he's coming all the way around. He said it well. He doesn't want to fall straight. He's gotten a little bit of an angle. Pinegar does have 3. He does owe 1 from before we got the camera rolling. The angle he has, he could almost punch into the 9-12. But boy, the problem is we're playing on 4.25-inch pockets here at the Derby this year, and that ball becomes missable when hitting it at that pace. Don't want to do that with the guy he's playing. I think he's considering cinching this 1 and playing the 7-2 rails, which I don't mind. The only problem with that is he's going to lose his position, meaning the 7's going to kind of end up in no man's land if he doesn't drop it. And Chohan is one of the best bank pool players in the world. He could definitely utilize that 7 to his benefit, so he's not going to have any cover here. Speed looks pretty good. I don't think Chohan will be banking that. What I mean by that is the 7 seems to have gotten close enough to the rail, note Pinegar's cue ball, that Chohan's looking at a double kiss on the 7. He's going to have to come with something here. What does this spot ball end up like? I don't believe anything is wired to Chohan's pocket. Pinegar making sure he gets that ball straight and frozen.
Ruben Batista to table 15. Ruben Batista to table 15. You are on the clock.
Chohan pretty adamant about it as well. Tells me that this ball is a little more important than we think. While I'm discussing this, I will tell you this angle is the only angle we have to work with this year. So take it easy on me. I know it's hard to put up with me for a full match, and I'm not going to call everything right. We'll do the best we can. Is he going to kick, or does he see something off the stack? Yeah, he's kicking at the 7. He kicked with speed. He caught it a little thinner than he'd like because Pinegar's going to return this bank. Chohan would have liked to have caught the 7 on a heavier side to get it more to his side of the table. So I guess Pinegar's got options here. Oh boy, I didn't think he could go forward like that. I felt like the scratch was on. Therefore, he would have had to have elevated just a little bit, or he could have played the 2-railer, right? With low right English, you could draw the cue ball 1 rail to the top rail and play the 2-railer with perfect speed. That's what a lot of guys do sometimes when that scratch is on. So a little surprising there, and he almost shot it like he didn't even think it was there. And this is the bank that Chohan might be the greatest in the world at. He's going to cross the 7 to his side, and he'd like to go up into the 2 and 8 with the cue ball. Extreme outside English or right-hand English. Center ball. Well, he's caught the 7 full. But it's a winning shot if you execute it correctly. It still turned out okay. He's got the 7 covered up by the 13. But it's a great shot to practice for you folks at home. Basically, the bank ball is straight on with the cue ball, and you're spinning the cue ball out of the way with the right-hand English. It's going to go 1 rail up into the stack, and you can do that from several different angles. Pinegar might be forced to do something passive here. Maybe just 2-rail the 13 out and punch forward. The only concern there is that Chohan's going to probably kick at the blue 2. The reason I say that is that the 12 will control the cue ball. So he's got to protect a few things here. So just 2-railing the 13 out might not be good enough. And this is why he elected to play it that way. And I actually think it was better. Playing it that way, you're going to keep Chohan from really, really opening something up and burying you into the stack, I believe. Chohan does have a look at 2-railing the 7 possibly, maybe even 1-railing the 7 and swinging the cue ball. What he has in the stack, I don't know that I can see. Is the 3 available? Can he play the 9, 1, 11, 3? Yeah, I don't believe Pinegar would have left him there if the 3 was on. So he is looking at the 7. I don't know if he can play this 2 rails and go forward. He can play at one rail and come 3 rails to cue ball. That's what he's done. He's caught it a little thick, but the speed was real nice. Real nice. And this is going to cause some issues for Pinegar. Nice control there with cue ball. Got the 7 close.
Table 23, Jonathan Pinegar and Alan Rosado. Alan Rosado, Jonathan Pinegar, table 23.
He's going to have to be careful here. If he wants to do something with the 13, I don't know that he can see it. I believe the 2 might have him a quarter ball covered, and that's the wrong side of the 13 to see. So this is a real effective shot, especially with that cue ball on the rail. He's looking to bank the 9. I don't know that it even passes. If it does pass, it's not by much. So the beauty about one pocket, folks, is there's always a shot, right? At worst, Pinegar could take a foul. Let's just say he could roll the cue ball 1 rail down below the 13 if he had to. Yes, it's real passive, but it gets him out of trouble. Is he going to cross 13? Oh, he could kick to the 7. Pretty well done. I don't know that he's going to like the end result here if Chohan can do something with the 9 and possibly stack Pinegar, but it looks a little risky. Yeah, Chohan wants to bank at the 9 and just get it close and maybe stack him up in between the 6 and 1. But boy, that's why he chose to go that way and use the 7. Oh, do you notice what I notice? The 9 and 13 look completely lined up to Chohan's pocket. So Pinegar has to defend against that. And not only that, the 12-2 lead to the 9 from just about anywhere on the table. So he's got to defend against that as well. So maybe getting him back up to the left of the side pocket is about his only option. I'm wondering if he's left Chohan an opportunity here. Can Chohan see enough of 12 to go into the 2 to the 9? He's taking a look now. Could be a game winner. I believe the 13 throws straight in, and it looks like it's wired right now, but it's actually going a fraction high, which is perfect. He's going to the 7, I believe. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Can you come off of the edge of the 2 here and come up and disturb possibly the 13? Come off of the edge of the 2, basically down to the center diamond, softly, very softly, and just rock the 13 or even the 9, because those 2 balls there are causing problems. I think he's overlooking something here. So this does a lot of things at one time. If you can bury him below the 9 and 13, Chohan's going to have a little bit of work to even get out of it. Number 1, and number 2, you move the ball. Pinegar looking to put him up table. I feel like it's a little haphazard to do that, or counterproductive. Yeah, definitely if the 14 comes around. Yeah, that was a little wild in my opinion. He had other options. That 9 and 13 are a huge problem. Chohan looking like the 14 plays. Doesn't look like it to me, so maybe he's got other things in mind. Well, it played, and this goes back to Pinegar being able to come off the edge of the 2 and just put him behind the 9 and 13 or below the 9 and 13, but instead, Chohan gets 1, needing 7 in round 11. Wow. I'm highly surprised he didn't elevate there, or at least spin the cue ball. He just went with a straight top English and ran up into the 9. He's going to bank this and draw back. Oh no, this is disaster for Chohan. He caught it point to point, and the 9 comes over right in front Pinegar's pocket. We are in January. Christmas has already passed, but maybe this is the ghost of Christmas past, because this is the gift that Pinegar needed. He's eyeing the 6-12 combination down, and it could lead to position if he falls on the correct angle. You want to stay a little above the 6 here, so you can go into the 1 and 8. Pinegar can run the balls. I would actually say he's a straighter shooter than Chohan. So when Chohan gets the opportunity to run the balls, he needs to take advantage. Yeah, he's fallen a little flat on this. I don't know that he can create an angle now to go into the 1 and 8. He stayed leveled out there. Surprised he didn't elevate a little bit more. I know he was over the 2 and 8, but still, you really needed to stay above the 6 there to create the angle to go into the pile. And maybe this angle is misleading me. Now he's looking at the 7, and that really tells me he's fallen funny on this combination. He's playing for 4. Yeah, so I go back to this and I'll say it again. I'm a little surprised he didn't really dig into that last ball to stay above the 6. Because then if you cut the 6-12 combination just a fraction, it looks pretty easy. You're going to open the pile up and you win the game. He kind of cinched the shot, and he's fallen straight on this combination. Let's see what type of angle he really has. I think he's got the wrong side. Now he's looking at the 3. I think you've got to just play the combination here, unless you can play the 7 and clear the 3. If you're confident pocketing the 7, it's okay. But you're probably at 95% to make the 12. That's why I like the combination. Even if you have to draw back, yeah. Sometimes we talk ourselves out of winning games. I know it's happened to me a million times. This is not something you want to leave Tony Chohan. He can stun over just a fraction here, or draw it. Well, I believe he's knocked this down. He has. So when it looked like he was going to lose the game, he's back in the game. Going back to Pinegar's decision, if he just plays the 6-12 combination, even if he just cinches it, he's got 5 and Chohan's got 2, and it's a huge difference in the ball count. Coming up a little short there. These balls could easily just head up table now, and I think that's what's going to happen. The 11. The 2. Doesn't want it to fall. Like to have kept that on his side. No harm, no foul. Coming off the bottom of the 8. A little surprised he didn't draw the cue ball back to the bottom rail. So now Chohan's going to get this to his side. He's going to make a little adjustment. Make sure not to make it in the side. Yeah, once again, I'm just a little surprised that Pinegar's not working a little harder to get that cue ball to the bottom rail, because when you leave it right there, Chohan has the ability to elevate and really work to get him to the bottom rail, and that makes things tougher for your opponent when you're down there. Even though he's not frozen, now you've got all this distance you've got to work with. You've got to protect from the 1 and the 6 and possibly the 7. Is Pinegar looking at the bank on possibly the 12? Is that the 12 nearest the 11? If he's looking at that, where do you put the cue ball? Can you get it up behind the 6? Boy, it looks tough to me, especially with a 4-3 ball lead. I think you want to be real careful here. You could lose the game by mishitting this. Well, he's actually hit it well. He got a great rub on the 8, so that's fortunate, right? Like, if he doesn't get the rub on the 8 that he got, he could have caught the 8 a fraction more full and left Chohan straight in. All is well. No harm, no foul, no broken bones. Does Chohan have a cut on 1, or can he see past the 6 to kick and stick on the 12? Yeah, it's pretty nicely done, except there's one problem, and it's that 1 ball. Possibly even the 6, depends on how Pinegar feels about it. I do like the shot Chohan played, though. The 12 is now in a bankable position for him. The 12 also doubles up the 15. So he has to escape this inning here in hopes that Pinegar blunders this bank. And he did blunder this bank. He's hit it about 12 inches short. So Chohan has options, but I believe he's going to swerve the 1 in with a lot of left-hand English and come out somewhere center table and bank the 12 next. And that's what I was alluding to. The placement of the 12 with the rail first shot Chohan shot prior was really pretty nice. Well, he's overcut it. Just didn't look like he felt comfortable about it, but it laid really nice. Just a little left-hand spin. He's overcut it. And another opportunity for Pinegar to remove a ball. I guess I could say another fortunate position for Pinegar where Chohan could have got a few more balls. Nice kicked stick there. And nice positioning on the 1. It's going to force Chohan to come off of the 12. Oh, this is not what he wanted. Once again, flashbacks of the 9 ball a few innings earlier when it came out of Chohan's corner and over to Pinegar's side. And this lays absolutely natural to come 2 rails up behind the 1 or anything else. Yeah, you could ask for a better angle. He'd like to get off the rail, though. You do not want to land on the top rail, so you really want to put in a little work here to be conscious of that. It seems like more often than not, that's where the cue ball will end up if you don't put emphasis on it, right? So knowing ahead of time that left-hand spin is going to kill off the second rail and most likely end up on the top rail is something you need to be conscious about. The 6 does play. He's going to fall nicely behind the 15. It might fall, and it did. Pinegar playing for 2. So he did land perfect on the 6 where he had cover on the 15. That allowed him to shoot it with a lot less pressure. Does he just cinch this or draw back? I don't know what he gets out of drawing back. I think you cinch it. Well, might not look like a big deal, but he'd like to have gotten that down. Everything is on this side of the head string, so if Chohan can follow this in, can't jump the ball off the table. That is a rule here at Derby City Classic. If your opponent has a ball hanging, the only way to get it back on the table is to follow it in or take it out. They don't want people in the crowds getting hurt. Chohan going to try and follow this in, but at this angle, it's very tricky. Yeah, so he's gotten the double kiss, and that was the concern. Double kiss is what kept the cue ball up. Pinegar is playing for 1. Going into the 7. Wouldn't be surprised if Chohan banked at this 1. And that's what he's going to do. Can draw the cue ball 1-2 rails behind the blue 2. Well, he's hit it real fat. So Chohan a little off the mark here early in this round. Pinegar looking to keep the pedal to the metal. I don't know that it's necessary when you need 1. Is it the right move to bring another ball down table? Or do you just 2-rail the 1 out, play the cue ball up on the top left rail? Well, it looks like it might be okay. The only concern there is that he's brought another ball down in play. No time to panic yet. Chohan considering the 1-railer on the 2. swinging the cue ball 3 rails. No, he is not. He's going to kick the 11 with speed. Watch out for this 2 ball. It might end up really sweet. Well, it has. And this is what I was talking about with the 11. Pinegar 2-railing the 11 versus just 2-railing the 1 out. Now he's got a little pressure on himself. Sure, he can shoot 2, but it's not without damage if he misses it.
Josh Maines, table 7.
It looks to me like he's going to shoot, so he's thinking here, at minimum, hang this ball up. Pinegar playing for 1. Well, he's overcut it, and this takes me back to the shots before where I think Pinegar could have 2-railed the 1 out. When you bring balls down table, it's inviting trouble because your opponent needs all of them, so he's going to stay aggressive. I think Chohan's just got to cinch this 1 and then remove the blue 2. That's what he's done. Now he can 2-rail this out, but he's picked up 2 balls. And he's playing for the last 3 on the table. The idea is basically when you're playing for 1 and your opponent's playing for 4 or 5 is to keep them off the shot. And if you do give them a shot, make sure they can only get 1. Make them work. Make them be the one to sell out a cross bank or a straight back or even a straight in because you know they're going to be the aggressor. So just keeping them off the shot when you need 1 is huge. Chohan probably the best in the world at that shot there. Most 1-pocket players won't even play it because they feel like a lot can go wrong. He practices that kick all the time. And just because he didn't make it doesn't mean it wasn't effective. It still applies pressure to your opponent anytime they have to work to remove a ball from your opponent's pocket. Pretty well controlled. He's got the 7 down where Chohan can't bank it, but can he play the 2 rails? Once again, I'm concerned about his decisions in this position. Chohan isn't going to flirt with the 2. Well, he's caught this a little bad again. Pinegar has a pretty good shot here on the 2. He has to hit it with a little speed. He's looking at the 7. That angle on our screen looks too steep, or a little too steep at least. But he's going to play it because the cue ball is easier to control, so I do understand it. But he's hit it too thin. Chohan's going to have a cross corner here. I'm a little surprised he didn't bank the 2. So maybe a couple questionable shots in the up table game from Pinegar. This is going to be short. Now you can kick and stick. He looks like he's using a high cue ball. This is okay, but it does risk the scratch if you catch the 7 wrong. He's played the double kiss. That works as well. The kick and stick there, folks, is where you dig into the side rail first with some low right. It's a real good shot for people to practice at home if they're trying to improve their game, because in one pocket, it comes up constantly. Another nice shot if it gets low, but he might have left the cross corner. Chohan keeping the pressure on Pinegar. Pinegar might be able to miss this kiss. Playing for one. Well, he's played the cue ball more than he played the object ball, and I can't blame him. He wanted to avoid the lower side pocket, so he used maximum left. He's done quite well. I don't know. Chohan might take a whiff at this 7, and he looks like he's going to. Oh, he's got a lot of body movement. I will remind everybody there's 500 plus players in this tournament. Round 11, there is a word called fatigue that is real in this tournament. It is a tournament possessed basically with survival of the fittest. Straight back on the 7. This is all object ball pace here. Looks good if you get it there. Cheap gasoline, just a little. Now I do believe Chohan can miss this kiss with inside English. He's going to take a look at it. There's nothing wrong with walking over to the aim point, taking a better look at it, keep your eye on that spot, then address the cue ball. Well, he's hit it fat again. Body movement as well. And it's always good to read your opponent's body, right? If he's flinching or a little snatchy with the cue, you can pick up on those weaknesses. Watch this kiss. Okay, he's missed the kiss, and this is going to turn out really nice. He's finally kept Chohan off of anything aggressive, from what I can see. This is a portion of the game where simplicity is really effective. There's nothing wrong with that shot there. Really like to get him to the rail. It makes life difficult. Does he risk rolling the 2 in? Well, he did. He's caught the 7. It's going to be okay. Chohan motioning that it's rolled off a fraction. We'll never know. But you've got to believe him. Is Pinegar considering taking this on? The concern here is if it's mishit in any which way, you can lose the cue ball. You can also lose the object ball. He can address the entire cue ball, which makes it a lot different being in the pocket the way it is. It's caught it a fraction thick again. These guys are catching these balls a little thick on the cross corners, which is common, right? It's the comfortable side of catching the object ball. This is an awfully thin cross. It can be done. You need to watch out for the 7 and cue ball up in the lower right. He's caught it thick again. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Table 22, Skylar Woodward and Raymond Linares. Raymond and Skylar, table 22.
So this is the shot I felt Pinegar should have shot possibly quite a while ago on the 1 when he left Chohan back in the game. And Chohan got a couple balls off of it a few innings later. Doesn't look like he's done much to Chohan, but it's pretty effective because Chohan has to protect the 7 as well as the 2. Oh, this is pretty clever. Look at the cue ball as well. Very clever. He's gone from a position of having to protect from what Pinegar's going to do next, and now Pinegar has to protect what Chohan's going to do next. So I think Pinegar softly banked his 2 up towards the 7 with some right-hand English. And see, I think if you put a little more emphasis on the cue ball there, keeping it on that bottom rail, it really makes things a lot more taxing on your opponent. But Pinegar knows that Chohan's always going to look for something. Chohan cannot win this game with the 8 placed where it's at. So I don't know that it's time to do anything too haphazard. He's going to kick to the 7. And it's turned out well. Can Pinegar chip the 2? Play Chohan up in the top left corner. Well, cue ball once again way off that bottom rail, and it's going to allow Chohan to dig into the 7 2 rails. He's caught the 2. Did not want to catch the 2 with the cue ball. The reason Pinegar couldn't bank that is it was too close to the rail. The angle was just a little too off. Chohan going to look at this 2 ball, I guarantee that. Can swing the cue ball out past the 7 or maybe even into the back of the 7. Well, he's overcut it. So he's hitting the cross corners too thick. He's hitting the straight backs too thin. Once again here, you can keep it simple. Focus about your cue ball. Bank the 2 up towards the 7, nice and easy. Stun the cue ball over 1 rail to the bottom rail, just like so. And that's ideal. Chohan now has a problem unless he just decides to bank at the 2, and it might be all he has. The 2, utilizing the cue ball 1 2 rails, is probably the only way to get safe as well. He's got to make good contact here. A tip of high right. He did make good contact. He's going to have to do it again. If Pinegar learned anything there, he's put him in a funny position. Just get the 2 over a little bit more this time. And he's done that. Now Chohan has to defend against leaving some type of bank or straight in on one of these 2 balls, meaning the 7 or 2. And let's notice the 8, right? It hasn't even been a part of the last 7 or 8 innings. That's exactly what Pinegar wants. he's played it unbelievably, and it looks to be on target. What a hit this is. Boy, it's big if that drops because Chohan can do something with the 7. Pinegar now going to roll the 2 in. Be a little trapped due to the positioning of the 8. Yeah, man. Guess he's a little concerned at rolling that ball in, so he did this, which gives Chohan a little bit more room to work with. He can hit the thin side of the 7. Well, he's missed everything, and he's motioned that the table rolled off, and this is detrimental. Pinegar going to win game number 1 with a straight in blue 2. All of that work might really take the wind out of Chohan. We'd like to thank Bad Boys Billiard Products for their partnership in this stream. Thank you so much, Bad Boys Billiard Productions. Also, this stream is also sponsored by Hustling USA and JB Custom Cases, Olivier Custom Cues, and Littman Lights, the best in the business. You've got to wonder, or at least I am, as to how that affected Chohan. It can be disheartening, or it is disheartening, to need 5 or 6 balls and grind your way back into a match to where, or a game to where you're needing 2. Whether you mishit it or the table drifted off is neither here nor there, but you leave your opponent straight in on his game winner that spots up from a foul. Does it affect you in the future? These guys are world champions. It shouldn't, but that's easier said than done. And to me, it looks like Pinegar has the perfect window. So Murphy's Law, he can bank this 15. And he can play it at a pace where he's just cinching it and then do something with the 8. So really you're cinching this bank. You don't want to overhit it. Nice medium pace, a little bit of center inside, maybe a fraction of low. Something the great John Brumback teaches is the easier you hit this stun bank, or is he crossing it, the easier you hit it, the more the ball will take. So that angle fooled me. He had a cross corner versus a stun. Pinegar not thrilled with it holding up. We are playing on 4 1/4. First year that Derby has done that versus 4 1/2. I know the players enjoy it. Chohan would really like to get all the way up. So Pinegar's got options here. Probably going to go rail first on this 8. I don't believe the 1 passes. He's not going to even look at that, I don't think. So this is a little riskier, right? When you're playing the 4 into the edge of the 8, you've got to hit a very specific point. Things can go awry. A conservative play here is rail first on the 8. You can even hit it with speed and maybe knock something to your side. But does the 7, 9, 12 kick to Chohan's pocket, is that what he's defending against? This would make sense. Yes, and this would make sense as to why he's playing this. If it's executed correctly, it's a devastating shot. He could open a lot of balls to his side as well. Oof. If the 4 catches the bottom of the 7, it lands right in front of his pocket, so this was executed really well. Nice cue ball. He parked it right where it needed to be. Chohan on the wrong side of the 1. He'd like to be able to stun the 1 into the 7, but the cue ball is going towards the top left rail, basically allowing Pinegar an opportunity on the 10 or 4. I believe the 10 does pass. Sometimes in Chohan's position, you want to panic after losing a game like he did last time, but he's really only down 1 game in 1 ball. It's no hill to climb. In a race to 3, it's easy to overcome if you keep the mind right. Looking at kicking the 10 possibly. Is there a window between the 3 and 12 for the 10? Chohan is very accurate with that. You have to be careful not to sell the 4 out because you're going to have to hit deep with the cue ball kicking the 10. Now he's just going to bunt the 1 over. Nice cue ball, though. Very nice cue ball. Pretty effective little shot. I don't know that Pinegar can kick to the 1. I don't think he can cross the 1, even if he can see it. I think the kiss is on. This is where the angle can really fool you. Boy, okay, so he can do both, I think, by the way he moved there. I think he can kick at the 1 or cross it, but I think the kiss is in play. So this is not going to work out if it comes off the rail. This is just what the doctor ordered for Chohan, especially if the 7, 9, 12 is on. Yeah, so he stunned it. He wasn't real comfortable. A little overhit, in my opinion. He hit it with a lot of speed. Felt like that bank might have been laying a little nicer than that. Chohan can go up into the 4 and 10 here if the 7, 9, 12 is on, but his body language tells me it's not really on. What about doing something with the 3 here or the 2? Just going to go at this, huh? Well, I see why. I see why. Swisher sweet. 3 rails straight in the guts. Now he can come over. Or is he just cinching this? He's cinching. He's going to play the 10-4. Sending both his direction? Or does he have something else? Can he go into the 11 here? I'm really surprised at this play. He's placed the cue ball on the wrong side of the stack, and you guys are probably thinking, well, he's done well with it. Pinegar doesn't have anything. The problem is that he's given up all of his position. I thought that Chohan could have done more with that 8 ball, and instead he just cinched it. But it seems to me that Pinegar really doesn't have anything. I felt like he could come off the 14 and push something to his side, play the cue ball up towards the 6. And this isn't going to be any good. It's going to allow a straight back on the green 6. Chohan, very tough to commentate at times, but I know his game quite well. This is all focus on the object ball. This cue ball will finish nice. Wow. A fraction short. Pinegar going to have to kick behind this ball. This is a center left English, and you want to hit further up on that bottom rail, meaning further towards the center than you would think. You want to catch the 6 a lot fuller. So this is a big shot that you want to practice at home. When it's executed correctly, it looks very simple. Boy, he hit it with speed. Could have hit it a little easier, but he's done real well with the cue ball, and he has hit the accurate point. Yes, and he has kind of cut Chohan off from anything powerful from what I see, unless Chohan can kick at the 7, but once again, that must not be laying correctly, or he would have shot it eons ago. Can he shoot the 14 into the bottom of the 3? He's going to have to kill it. Yeah, I don't know that he can be too accurate with that, especially with where the cue ball lays. He might be forced to roll up to the 6. That's what he's done. Pinegar would like to move that 4 and 10, but he can't cover or protect it. And I mean right now. Pretty well done. Chohan's very good at this shot, though. He could kick one rail to the 6, moving it to his side and using the stack as protection. It is there. Oh, he's got a rub, and it's not going to be a good one. Whether the 6 banks or not is kind of here nor there. Anytime leaving that cue ball up and in the open like that, Pinegar unhappy. Usually proves to be problems, but Pinegar can thin bank the 6 to his side and just play all cue ball. Just catch the 6 thin like you're almost 2-railing it up towards the 4 and 10, right? But you're using center right cue ball, and you just bury him between the 11 and 14. Do 2 things at once. You protect the cue ball and you get the 6 to your side. Who knows? 6 might even come off the 9 and 7. But you're really just playing that cue ball, 1 rail straight into the 13, 11. Just sticking them up in that little patch right there. It's kind of like a catcher's mitt. It's saying, put me here, put me here. The bank is clearly unplayable. See, I don't like going up there because you're just leaving the cue ball in an open position. I get what he's trying to do. He did move the 10 and 4, but I think the cue ball out in open space playing this game with a world-class player is always asking for trouble. It's turned out okay, and let's imagine Pinegar gets that cue ball up on the top rail. Would have ended up really nice, so I'm not faulting him for the shot. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. He's moved 2 to his side. He doesn't want those to tie up. Can Pinegar 2-rail the 3, like 2 rails towards the top side pocket, and just kind of nudge the cue ball up in under the 2? This is okay. He's just going to play the cue ball 1 rail up and down here. Or is he going to thin the 7 and come 2 rails around? I don't like that. He's trying to get behind the 4 and 6. The problem is, if you don't find cover, the blue and white 10 is wide open. Of course, it doesn't bank cleanly, but Chohan can manufacture something there. I think you could 2-rail the 3 over to your side and just stun up under the 13 and 2. It's an option. The speed looks pretty good here. I do like this result. Very well controlled, especially from where he was at. And not only that, the 2 might pass now, but he has really cut Chohan off from anything that he can do aggressively. Matter of fact, Chohan might be forced to take a foul here, because Pinegar's next shot could put Chohan in check. Chohan typically not one to take fouls at his level. He doesn't do it that often for some reason. Wow. Okay. A lot going on there. It worked out. Pinegar, a little scratch of the head. I guess he's got to be careful, meaning Pinegar. Can he see the 11? He's got to be careful of the 13 and 2, the return 13-2 combination from Chohan. Meaning if Pinegar decided to 2-rail the 6 towards the 10, he can't really do that. Chohan's got an opportunity at the 13-2. Can he shoot the 11 and stick? Or even the 14 if you can stick to the 13 and 2. But the 11 is much better. Pretty good. And that's what I was saying. And he did take notice to the 14. And now everything favoring Pinegar. Yeah, I don't know that that's going to get it. He's allowed Pinegar a real good look at the 13. Doesn't bank clean. Looks like the 12 is glued to the bottom of that 14. So you really want to be careful here. What's more important, making a ball or protecting the cue ball? If you bank at this 13 fat, meaning bank it into the 12 or the 11. Where's the cue ball going? Okay, he's played it off the 7, caught it dead perfect. Pinegar playing for 6, and they are all right there. I'm pretty impressed with his game in this last game or two. It looks to me like the young man is playing a lot of one pocket. I don't feel like Chohan has played terribly. I feel like Pinegar's played pretty good. He's going to elevate on this 3. Gets this down. Ooh. Did hit it a little wide. It did go down. Now, 2 rails out or 1 rail out for the 7. I like coming 2 rails above or between the 3 and 10. Really opens everything up for you. He's going to come 1 rail out. Okay, it's just as good or better. He didn't catch the 7. I felt like it was a little riskier. If you catch the 7, you're done. He's playing for 4. And Pinegar's fallen perfect here. He can actually just float over with a center punch. He's playing for 4. You can just get to the short side of 2 here, and if you don't get there, you can play the 11. Well, he's fallen nicely on the 11. You've got to wonder if he was trying to come to the 2. He's playing for 3. Like to carry an angle here on this 7, whether he's below it or above it. It doesn't really matter. The 14 also plays. And he'd like to stay above it at that angle that he just put his cue at. Like that cue ball to settle or travel. Well, he looks to me like he's gotten a bit flat. He's playing for 2. Can he punch over for the 2? Oh, he did have an angle. This is steep. Can he even shoot this? This is kind of why I was referring to just getting to the short side of the 2 off of the 10. He's going to spin this in, or at least try, playing for 1. Oh, he's hit it well. No threat of scratching. Pinegar going to knock it down and take game number 2. Chohan has his work cut out for him. I'd love to thank these event sponsors. Diamond Billiard Products, best table in the world. Ian Simonis and Simonis Cloth, best cloth in the world. Airmouth Billiard Balls, the best pool balls in the world. Outsville AccuRack, AccuStats Video Productions, and the long-lasting Masters Billiard Chalk. Thank you guys so much for putting this event on. We appreciate it. Pinegar, to add insult to injury, is breaking to win this match. So if you're Chohan, you could go back to where he whiffed that ball and left Pinegar straight in on his game winner. Has that affected him at all? Is he tired? Or has Pinegar just played a better match? And to me, I think Pinegar's been in more control. He's kept Chohan on the defense a little bit more than Chohan would have liked. It seems like the right guy is up 2-0, in my opinion.
Table 16, Mitchell Maynard and David Matlock. David Matlock, Mitchell Maynard, table 16.
This is an all too important break here. He would like to get good coverage, a nice spread. Now, most of these top guys are dragging this cue ball with a low inside. The low more acts as high than an actual high cue ball, because the rotation of this ball is going to turn over before it gets to the rack. And that's how you get a better spread like this. He actually hit it with pretty good speed as well. This break is pretty devastating. Chohan can go to the stripe, which looks to me to be the 10, and maybe go forward with the cue ball. But he's immediately looking at the 3, 4, 11, 2. And Tony is the type to take this on. He might even go into the 4 here, I believe. Because of the position of this match, being down 2-0, he is fearless. And he's probably thinking, I'd either like to get this over or steal this game. But he thought better of that. He did go forward on this ball. Shot's decent, but the break was so strong. It's not going to devastate Hennessy by any means. Hennessy could immediately take a two-rail scratch, taking a foul. So you'd go to the left rail, the top left rail, 2 rails, and like to nudge the 2 ball. Really cut Chohan off from everything and get rid of the 2 if it's close to Chohan's pocket. Might be able to do the same thing going 1 rail. He looks like he's keying up to kick this with speed. You're going to lose your position if nothing comes out great. And look at here. He hasn't disturbed the 2 ball at all. It's a lifesaver for Chohan if it goes, because the ball position is not good for him. And he is shooting. Oh, and it was wired, and the cue ball laid perfect for position. Like to have had that cue ball settle just a little. Can Tony twist this 5 in easily, nice and smooth, and somehow come into the 9? You'd have to stay level. Maybe he's going to go up to the 13. Well, he'd like to have caught the 13 there. Now he's going away from the balls, and he's got pressure on him with this shot. Does he come up above the 3 or come up for the 12? Yeah, he's going to come up to the 3, but he's going to hit the 3, I believe. Yeah, this isn't any good unless he can pinch the 6. Looks pretty thin, but this angle could fool me. If he can pinch this 6, he might even be able to dig to the bottom rail and then to the 7. But it looks thin. And if he's got to roll it, the scratch is real possible. I don't know that he can make the 15. I think the 6 has him snookered, but he might be able to spin the 15 in. And if that's the case, it's ideal. Okay, pretty snatchy there. Wasn't 100% certain on the cue ball finishing. So He only gets 3 where he probably could have possibly gotten out. I know that seems very tough from where they were, but cue ball was in a great position. And another opportunity slips away for Chohan. Now, do you play this 15 2 rails into the 7? Kind of makes the 7 a bigger ball. In other words, and that's what he's looking at, right? So you would dig into the 15 with low right English. You can draw the cue ball up towards the side pocket this way, and you can really control both balls a little bit better. Most guys play it like this. Just like so. So let the cue ball get away just a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if Chohan cuts at the 6. Pinegar's side of the table looks like Times Square on New Year's Eve. So there is a little bit of pressure here with that 6. I don't know that he's got a clear path to get to the 7. Even a carom to the 7 doesn't look easy. Could shoot the 9 into it. Maybe. Sometimes when the defensive play is as tough as the offensive play, you've just got to go. Chohan is not at his best when he's playing slower. He's that fluid, momentum type player, as we all know. And he is running, and nobody can stop him. Doesn't seem like he's feeling this shot. And if you're not feeling it, what are you supposed to do? Wow, I'm really surprised at this, but he played the double or triple up. Real good cue ball. Initially, it looked crazy to me, the way he swung the cue ball like that, but the finish is pretty amazing. You typically don't want to play some type of a straight-in combination to your opponent's pocket and not send anything your way, but that's how tough a position Chohan was in. The cue ball finished absolutely perfect. Now Hennessy has to protect against this 6. Coming off the 13 or the 14. Oh, the triple ripple. The combination plays. Pinegar playing for 6. And once again, they're all available. So a little unlucky that Chohan played that nice cue ball and the 8 got in a position where the 3-ball combination just happened to go. It is a race to 3. We wouldn't typically expect a 3-0 win from somebody, but at this point in the tournament, with these two guys, anything can happen. Looks like he's coming to the 4 and going up to the 6. Well, he's missed the 4. You've got to wonder if his pace at times causes him to miss these balls. He looks around, and then gets down pretty quickly and shoots. It's definitely a different style. huge escape for Chohan there. These balls clearly favor Pinegar, but the cue ball position does not favor Pinegar. It might even be beneficial to take a foul if you get the cue ball up in the top center part of the table, basically kicking to the lower left diamond or the left diamond right there, kick above the side pocket, basically between the 6 and the side pocket, get the cue ball up on that top rail somewhere between the first and top right diamond. Now he's going to choose the shorter path, a little tougher to judge the speed, and the corner pocket is in play. But neither here nor there, I think it's the right shot. Just because of the way these balls are positioned, it continues to apply pressure to Chohan. Now is Chohan going to play the sweep? He's going to shoot the 7 into the bottom of the balls and send the cue ball one rail over. Didn't get the movement he wanted, but it'll be okay for now. Pinegar can bank the 6 and play the cue ball. Might even want to use the 15 as cover here. So you're like banking the 6 one rail towards the 1. You're going to cut it a little bit. So this is more about the cue ball. You obviously can't play the 6 to make it. Once again, he's done what I alluded to just a little bit ago. He looks around for long periods of time and then just gets down and shoots really quickly, which is definitely a different style. Now he's overcut the mark here. Chohan just not feeling it. Could have something to do with the 2-0 deficit. Pinegar can probably afford to be aggressive here with the 4, just due to the ball position. Is he going to draw into the 12? Well, did he get it down? He has got it down, so that was huge. He's got a cut on the 9. Look at these balls. The 12, 13, 7, and 6 are lined up almost like a drill. Can't fault him there. He wanted to cinch that. I don't know if he's got the draw angle to get position on those balls. Yeah, he's going to cinch this as well. Don't blame him. Pinegar playing for 4. Can he 3-rail this one? Kind of force follow the cue ball, which will keep the cue ball on this lower right rail. Only thing you've got to watch out for is the scratch in the lower right corner. Oh, he's hit it quite well, but he's going to leave the 15. It's not free, though. Yeah, Chohan in a position here. Can he see the 1? Can't see the 1, so this angle tells me he's going to take a foul or try and catch a piece of the 1. Can't do much better than that, in my opinion. Pinegar can come off of this side of the 1, though, and put him back up. Possibly behind the... Well, he's miscued. And he's gotten fortunate that the cue ball's settled there. A little higher. Chohan could get some balls. And he wants to take the 2 on. Looks awful steep. He's going to clear the 1. Bank it into this patch of balls here on our lower end of the table. I don't know that I've ever seen Chohan use a bridge. Well, he's got the 3 to his side, and he's definitely adjusted those balls. I'd say that was quite effective. There's a nice cue ball.
Table 20, Richard Andrews and Suad. Suad and Richard Andrews, table 20.
Pinegar still needs 4. You've got to wonder in Chohan's mind if he feels like he's so far behind that he has to be the aggressor moving forward. When in all reality, you can still grind this out. You've made it this far. You're doing something right. Let the errors go. Let the score go. Play the game. Don't force anything that's not there. Pinegar looking at the 10. Is he looking to 2-rail the 10 or 1-rail it? Yeah, he's looking to... Now I think he's looking to 2-rail it. He is looking to 2-rail it. Oh, what a hit. Really good hit. He's continuing to keep the pressure on Chohan, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. I feel like he's done more of that to Chohan versus the other way around. Typically, that's what Chohan does to their opponent. Needs that cue ball to hold. What a hit that was. Wow, what a hit that was. Chohan, one of the best to ever live at applying that pressure to you. Pretty good shot there. Open those balls up.
Table 7, Josh Maines and Jay Harris. Jay Harris, Josh Maines, table 7.
But this is kind of what I'm talking about. If you can really protect that cue ball, go ahead and allow Pinegar to stay that aggressive with a 4-2 ball count. Try and get him to make an error. Well, I don't know, man. I feel like Pinegar might be able to 2-rail this 15 now. Just pinch it with low right. 2-rail it. You're going to use that entire wall as protection. I don't know that that was real well thought out by Chohan. Unless he's got to catch the 15 so thin that the scratch is possibly on. But it looks pretty good. The only thing you've got to worry about is controlling the object ball pace. Well, he's using a high cue ball, so this is not what he's shooting. Tells me the scratch was on. Wow. That ball banked past those balls. I didn't think that was even possible. You've got to kick this out, don't you? You gonna bank at this? Yeah. I felt like you've got to kick that out. Well, if Pinegar banked the 2 last time, he's probably going to bank this 15. The 2 was tougher than this, had less room. Pinegar going to take a break, and so are we. Pinegar observing the table. You know, he's really stayed the aggressor in this match, and that's hard to do against a player like Chohan. But it's working for him, right? He's kept Chohan on the defense most of the time. And when Chohan did have opportunities to run balls, he was lucky to get 2 or 3. And that's kind of been the storyline of this match. And it continues to seem like that's going to be the storyline of this match. For example, Pinegar doesn't have to do anything aggressive here, but he continues to do it and do it quite well. I guess you would call that fighting fire with fire. Yeah, so he's going to twist this 15 back. Oh, and he's hit it unbelievably well. This is an amazing hit. He hit the 2 the same way the shot prior. So what a hit that was. I know what not to leave him if we ever play. Looking at the 14-13 combination. Kind of surprised that he hasn't looked at the 1 railer on the 2 with a lot of inside English. He's got the entire wall as coverage. Maybe it's a little steep. It is bankable, though, with straight left English, and you're going to hit the 2 thin. Now he's looking at the 2 railer and using the wall. I don't know how you hold the cue ball with this 2 railer. Surprised he hasn't looked at the 2. Maybe he's going to look at it now. He's looking at the 14-13 combination. He's just got to protect from the 3 here. He could go forward. Oh, gosh, what a hit. What a hit. Holy moly. Pinegar looking to finish his man in style. He's got the 3 railer on the 12. It's the point he'd like to hit. To go forward with the cue ball, I think you have to keep Chohan off the 3. Little short of the point he wanted to hit, but all finished nicely. Chohan slowly walking to the table. You've got to wonder if he feels his demise coming to an end. Can he swerve kick to the back of the 12? I believe he does have to use an extreme swerve to get around the 3-10-7. John Mora, the great Mr. Smooth, in the lower left corner of our screen. So he's pretty leveled out here. That's because he's cutting the 3 So he said, I've had enough of this. And that's what Chohan can do at times. It's also what makes Chohan so dangerous. But it looks as if Pinegar is going to have a clean sweep. 3 games to 0. He can play the 12, cue ball 2 rails to the 14. No danger. And pretty nicely done. Playing for 1 and to advance into round 12 without a loss. And he's given the big man a loss. And a lot of people would have said Chohan in a position to win this tournament. And he still has that opportunity. He's just going to need to regroup. But now, Pinegar in the driver's seat with an opportunity to win this tournament. Pinegar has done it. Congratulations to him. He is going to move into round 12 with no losses. Like I just said, Chohan taking a loss, his first loss. They will both move on to round 12. I am your host, Scott Frost. I appreciate you all joining us and putting up with me. Until next time, I'm out of here.